Hi and welcome to this sixth video capsule, and today I invite you to go to the next step after the inner couple, to jump on the outside couple, the real couple. Remember Gandhi talked about the peace. When you want peace, clean your front door. This famous quote is so important to understand how to create an harmonious and loving couple with someone. To go on this topic today, I will have to come back a bit on our first capsule about the basis of health. Basis of health is the same as to have a healthy couple. And remember this nature of human beings, which is in between cells, in between organs, but more in between electron and atoms. Science have discovered that universe is not empty, it's full of this supraluminous light, let's say like that, called tachyon, eon. In the ancient world there was plenty of name for that, that the ancients was describing, as we talked before. We know that when we nurture this link with this fourth dimension of human, this inner dimension, this spiritual dimension, but today neuroscience tend to understand that more we connect with this dimension, more the human potential. And it's very interesting to talk about human potential because it's above materialism or spirituality. It's about the real potential of humanity. When we reach these fourth dimensions, which is more subtle, many possibilities are developed, and specifically the possibility to be happy, to be in harmony, to be in love, to be joyful. So according to the fact that humans naturally tend to seek for this happiness, either if we don't use the right method to reach it, it's interesting to understand that to be more efficient, we could be much more efficient by taking time during our daily life to connect with this. It's difficult to say this inner world because in fact it's everywhere. It's in the nature, it's between atom and electrons. Everything is, we are living in this supralight, we are breathing in it, our body is made of it. So it seems to be the ground and the deep nature of everything that exists. But what is funny is for human is we have the ability to be conscious of this reality by taking a time to connect with this reality. And when we connect with this reality, we activate certain subtle senses. You know that for sportive, if they are moving in a very unstable condition, they develop what we call the sensor of proprioception. We all have proprioceptor in our body, but if we don't train to be in a very unstable situation, we don't develop them. So we are clumsy in different sports. But if we practice a lot this sport, suddenly we are not clumsy and we can do unbelievable stuff. In the domain of love and happiness, it's exactly the same. If we develop this sensor of this supralight, don't know how to call it differently, there is so many words to talk about it, but if we develop the sensors of this subtle nature by connecting with it, it's like a sport, we activate this sensor and we start to become able to feel it. Where we feel it the more, when what is a proof we have activated, we feel it there, in our tummy, in our solar plexus. So the best way to activate them is usually to go in nature. Nature is so beautiful, so peaceful, that it's already at the frontier of this harmonious and peaceful world, which is supraluminous. Another way to activate it, which is true with nature, is to go and watch the sunrise. In the morning when we are in this darkness and we suddenly meet this sunrise, we are connected to a part of nature that irradiates this light everywhere. And it is a symbol of what's happening in us. This light is so bright that it's invisible. But if we connect with the sun, with the real light, we're able to visualize more easily this inner light which is everywhere, around us, in us, and breathe it. And when we're able to breathe it, this light inside us, to release it in our body, out of us, and it's become a kind of habit, a daily habit. We reach this world, this famous world, which is a key of happiness. The danger of that is we could reach such degrees of fulfillment and happiness that we no longer seek to find a man or a woman and make couples, so our species could be in danger. So today the idea is to understand that when we reach this world, we reach the state of love that allow us to hope that we could share love with someone, real love. Not just attraction, not just instinctual attraction of the masculine and the feminine. When we stay in the world of instinct, and we're all made of that, we have seen inside us and in the whole world how the masculine tend to dominate the feminine. 75% of women in slavery, don't forget that, but in us it's the same. The femininity, and we have seen in the previous capsule, tend to be constantly in slavery. And finally, the masculine cannot give the best and tend to become a dominator because we have a victim. We want to get out of that. For that, we have to go out of the instinctual part of us, which is just a part of us. There is another part that we can reach. An institute like Institute of Garrison, many other research have shown how we can reach this state of consciousness. And I can show you, for example, some people like Arthur Janov, a neuroscientific, who have developed a book of biology of love, for example. You have Michel Audin talk about the scientific love. You have Daniel Goleman talking about emotional intelligence. You have Bruce Lipton and Steve Berman talking about spontaneous evolution. All these people are talking about this different state of consciousness, able to develop oxytocin in our body, develop in fact much more than that, state of consciousness where we feel this harmony, this peace, this love. When we have that, we know that frequencies attract the same frequencies. We know that we attract what look like us. Everybody knows that, it's common sense. So to talk about a couple who could evolve in real love, we have to reach first this state of being inside. So it was the purpose of the previous capsule, of course, but today to be cautious before evolving our own couple that perhaps we have, or to find someone with who we could pretend to build a real couple based on love and not just instinct. We need to be cautious and again to continue to develop this inner life, to be so strong that we're able to reach what I call the couple at 4. Couple at 4 is to understand that this supra-light, this energy, this 4 dimension in us, as man, myself, I can connect to this inner light as a femininity, a feminine energy, a feminine light, a feminine supra-light. When I do that on me, I honor as man my femininity, but in the full potential. In the past, that's what people was calling the soulmate. The soulmate for ancient wise people was not someone outside of you, it was inside you. It was this connection with this 4 dimension, this dimension of harmony, love and pure fulfillment. And when you identify that as man, that as a femininity light, you feel suddenly a full couple. Danger, you could just stay in your home and be happy like that. Extension of pieces. But it's very few people will stay at that level, so I'm not so anxious for that. Our instinctual dimension will always be there to remind us that we wish to have someone to live with. And if we could figure on someone else, for example, for me, if I can figure out in a woman that she has this light in her who is like a masculine energy that fulfill her, suddenly I see her as a couple. And I can have much more respect. We respect always couple. Couple mean children, mean life. We will all respect life above everything. So as soon as there is a dimension of a couple in someone, we have much more respect for this person. So when I identify my inner couple, I respect myself better. And if I see that on a woman, I respect this woman better. But it's the same on everybody. If I consider my friends, my boyfriends, girlfriends, as this spiritual dimension in themselves, suddenly there are couples that I see like that. And I can't to interconnect on this level of the pure light that is in them and try to express through them. And doing that, I activate this reality in themselves. The beauty is in the eyes of the person that perceives it. Everything that I perceive becomes real, and I activate that in me and on the other. So if I continue to nurture just my instinctual nature, which is cruel, which is hypersexual, which is hyper-dominant, which is greedy, of course my body language will express it. And because I consider that in me and in the world, I'm going to be attracted by people who are like that, who nurture these things in them. And of course it will be after that a constant war who dominate who. This is basic, we know that by heart. It's about time to, with the evolution of humanity, to go in another level, a level really that we could call love. But and love is not a sexual attraction, is not need, is the opposite, is to feel fulfilled of someone which is precious to give to someone. We can see that with parents, with mother and children, father and children. We want the best, we want to give the best to the people we love the more. So why we don't transpose this love in between adults and consider them as pure jewel inside? This is a beautiful theory, but usually we have difficulty to have a support of this theory. Knowing that in ourselves daily we can take time to connect with this subtle light and activate sensors and feel it in our solar plexus many times during the day. With time we are able more to connect with the whole nature, but particularly with other humans, to connect with this essence and to share this level. When I do that, I overpass my instinctual nature. And of course, this nature will always be there. So always I will have needs to have many type of different exchange, either sexual exchange, either physical exchange, emotional exchange, intellectual exchange, but support by always something that transcends it. And transcendence, knowing that all research has shown that when we are in this transcendent world, we have access to this pure love. This is really what see a mother in a baby, the full potential. In fact, the mother sees this light in the baby, and that gives her the strength to overpass all the tantrum, all the negativity, all the instinctual things. In a couple that exists, it could be the same. When you start to activate that in you and in the other, everything is much more bearable. But more than that, you activate the expression of that in you and in the other. And if for the other it's unbearable to see that you become more beautiful, more nice, more gentle, and you get out of this survival mode, the other is free to go out. And the break in the couple the split will be much more harmonious, because it's difficult to reproach to someone to be too gentle or too nice or too luminous or too beautiful. But sometimes if we nurture just the survival mode and the negative mode, we are not ready to live happy, to live in love and in harmony, because we have nurtured just the other sensor, so they are no longer fed. And when you feed this light in you, something in you is removed. So you do the same. You nurture, we all need to be nurtured, but you not nurture the same nature in you. And so you could access this type of couple based on something much more sustainable. Something like everything which is sustainable is zero impact. We see that in the physical nature. For couple, it's the same. If I nurture my inner and the outer, in fact, I'm connected to this 4-dimension. In my couple, I will exchange that at every level, either in the physical level and the sexual level. We will exchange that behind the appearances of the instinctual life. So everything can be mixed together, but we have to give a predominance to this reality, what I call the 4-dimension, to be more simple, to hope to have a much more tasty couple. Everything have a taste much better. And so it's about a question of amount. Just taking a time once a week, once a month, once a year to nurture this subtle, beautiful and spiritual life, it's not enough. It has to be daily, 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 daily. And at that time you could hope to have an amazing couple, and plus attract people who are on the same frequency as you. So for me, how to build a couple? Work on this inner couple first, and you will attract, and the filter will be natural. People don't support what is not themselves. And if you have a couple already made, you can create a new couple, you can nurture it, and you can educate it by this habit to connect in this dimension on the other, to smell, to see, to touch, to listen this wave of harmony, this wave of light, this wave of pure beauty that are everywhere, of course, in nature, everywhere, but on somebody it's something different, because we are all artists of expressing this 4-dimension when we are connected to it. So more we connected to that, more we become a group of artists who want to embody this beauty, to share that, and to become really a part of nature. Look how it's beautiful around. How human couldn't be this expression of beauty in our daily life, and particularly in a couple. What is more beautiful and gorgeous than a couple that look so shiny? So we have that usually at the beginning, the butterfly, the honeymoon effect. And butterfly and honeymoon effect, because we see that, we feel that. And after that we tend to not nurture it. If we was nurturing that all the time, whoa, when you see this type of couple enter in a restaurant, it's touch you. When you see this type of couple in movies, or people who are able to play that very well, it touch you. So why not us? Thank you.